Hi, my name is Jenny Beach, and this is Module 5, Understanding My Community. So, our first slide is our known customs and traditions. So I wanted to start out here, common attitudes and ideas. So we are traditionally a farming community where that was settled by the LDS Church, and we have a fairly high Latino population. Some of the things that really shape our community is a very strong religious belief by probably about 50% of our population. And therefore, everything in our little valley is closed on Sundays, being their idea of Sabbath. And religion has a pretty big impact on our policies, our economy, everything. So a lot of things are based around the LDS belief. Community is a really big idea. And within the Latino community, a family and culture are really big within our community customs and traditions. You probably have about a 30% population within our school district that is kind of more ski bummy than religious. The next part is known population and characteristics. So in the last census, our valley had about a little over 10,000 people. We do a lot of music festivals. We do a lot of volunteering through different nature conservancies and organizations. We have a ton of nonprofit organizations. This image here is of Friends of the Teton River that reclaim overused watersheds. We have a huge rodeo population. And we also, like I said, did a lot of music festivals. We have a lot of people that work in Jackson Hole, which is about 40 minutes away, in the construction industry. We used to have a huge disparity in gender, but it's kind of a little bit more evened out. Like I said, we had about like 17 to 20% population, a Hispanic population. A lot of people were in the service industry or construction industry. It is it's a very hardworking community that we live in. Our communication channels, we have a local newspaper, Teton Valley News. It is probably a little bit more liberal leaning than, I don't know, I would say it goes both ways. There's been some stuff that has been ultra conservative. There's been stuff that has been ultra liberal. I think it just depends on who's writing the article and who they're trying to inflame at the moment. Silver Star Communication is our one of our internet services, and they really push Dish TV. We don't have a local TV channel, but we do have a lot of local radio channels. A lot of people get their information either from Dish TV, Fox, CNN, da 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 da, or the radio. Our radio, we have a lot of Latino, Latino radio stations, country, a couple classic rock, and that's pretty much it. Known community groups. So Teton Valley Foundation is our overriding foundation that does a lot of stuff for nonprofit. We have the Education Foundation. We have Friends of the Teton River. We have pet-friendly organizations. We know they do a ton of things for our community, for our people. Just about everybody that I know is involved in one nonprofit organization or another. People volunteer a lot of their time, a lot of their resources. I am on the board of the Education Foundation that goes around collecting money from donors for grants for our local school districts. So, known leadership is definitely the churches. The LDS Church is a huge influence in leadership in our area. The bishops make a lot of decisions, and there's a decent amount of pushback. Again, the Catholic Church has because of our Latino population, has a big influence as well. A lot of volunteers have a good leadership role. They push for a lot of different things. The organizations and nonprofit foundations really help shape a lot of the ideology in our community for service industries, or for service to community, I should say. Two very specific leaders within our school district is the middle school principal, Brian Ashton, and our curriculum director, Megan Bybee. These two are wonderful individuals who have a direct influence on leadership, and their idea of leadership is remarkably closely aligned with mine. No wonder we're friends. That it is leading by giving people power, letting them be masters of their own domain, and leadership that way versus top down, do what I say leadership. known economic conditions. So this website is a fantastic website that is hopefully going to load, that has a ton of demographic ideas of our specific community or population. The median age is 35. We're a relatively older population. A lot of people that were born here go away for a little bit and then come back. Um, so this 5,000 employees, people employed here, I think that is might be a misnomer. I think that might be a population based on the fact that we are a lot of people are employed about over in Jackson. Median income, really great information. So what was I going to say? So over here, the demographics for the last census: 80% white, 17% Hispanic, and 1% of other non-speaking language. 2 and 16% of the people in Teton County speak non-English language. That is our Hispanic population. We have a large Hispanic population because we are that close to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Over here is our little Teton County. It's relatively small, with our county seat being Driggs, which is in the direct center of our county. We are nestled next to the Teton Range. Our economy is specializes arts, entertainment, construction, agriculture, forestry, fishing, hunting. Median household 58,000. That's a lot because of the construction industry. Wage per job. This data information is just really phenomenal and very helpful when we're looking at economic conditions in our area. We are a Title I school district, so we do have lower economic status than a lot of students. We have a lot of high population on free and reduced lunch. Political structure. Can we separate politics? No. So we as a school district have to rely on taxpayers for a lot of our funding. We don't have a lot of financial funding because the state of Idaho and a lot of our district is, we have a decent amount of land, but a lot of it is Forest Service land, so we cannot build in it. And during the last administration, the Obama administration, they got rid of the subsidies that the federal government used to give to subsidize for some of that income. We are also, we had a bond for building new buildings. So we have been hugely, as a school district, pushing and promoting what we need and getting fantastic response from our community and support and financial backing. Our levy passes every 2 years, our bond pass for our new schools and all of our improvement. So although you can't separate politics and schools, we have great discussion about it with our students. We are, like I said, Brian Ashton and Megan Bybee, the leaders in our school district, are really pushing very hard for positive marketing of the things that we're doing really well in our school district. So, known social tensions. We are an agricultural farming community and we have a high Latino population. There are a lot of race issues, especially in the middle school, which I work, because I think kids are regurgitating information without having life experiences to back that up. So I think there's a lot of social issues there. There's also traditional issues. So someone like me, who was a move-in 10 years ago, I apologize, 10 years ago, who is non-religious, is pushing back a little bit against the LDS stranglehold that they have on this community, or trying to maintain on this community. A little bit more liberalism sliding in, a little just a little bit more progressive means of life. So our school board does a phenomenal job. This is a picture of our school board. Does a phenomenal job communicating the needs and desires. We have a marketing director, we have a public relations director, and we do public meetings, public forums, questions, answers. We broadcast our board meetings, a lot of really great stuff to project the good information, all the information to our populace that really, really supports our school district. So power structure. This was such an interesting question because there is a phenomenal struggle within our district between our music department, interestingly enough, and our athletics. So both are very, very valued, and personal opinion, we miss out on a lot of academics because we say, look at how wonderful our music is and look at how great our athletes are. But in the middle, there's a gap in let's look at the academics and let's focus on student musician, student athlete. Um, there's a big struggle in between a lot of that within our district and for our community supporting, well, the teacher shouldn't hold the kid off the bus because they are failing a class, they have a district football game, or that student has a phenomenal voice, so they should be able to take easier classes because they win all state every year for music. So I feel like I'm guessing this is a larger discussion between uh, in all school districts. Multicultural issues. So like I said, we have a 17 to 20% Latino population. The the brunette lady in the white shirt is our school's ELL director, and she is a phenomenal person. Her name is Leanne Gomez, and we developed a program called Spanish Lab. So we are introducing different cultures to different students and bringing all of that in and opening up the discussion of what is it like to be a person who was raised with a different language and different culture and coming into here and having split cultures and having to battle that every day. Like you go home and you speak Spanish and you come to school and you speak English and you want to be on the basketball team, but that's not traditionally Hispanic. And, so there's a lot of really interesting conflict. And if you are the white kid that hangs out with all the Latino kids, like what does that feel for you? And what do all the white kids say about you from that? So we're doing a lot of really great stuff and opening up those cultural communication barriers. Again, middle school is a really hard time where we are trying, you don't see color and race in elementary school very often because they're just your friends. And then you start to figure stuff out that you guys are different in middle school. And by the time a lot of these kids get to high school, they realize that they're cool and you can hang out and it really doesn't matter. And it's not that big a deal. But we see a lot of racial issues here. So we have multicultural days, we have Spanish Lab, we have all these different things that really bridge the gap that needs bridged. So political parties, one of the biggest power structure issues that we have, conflicts, is our school boards through standardized testing, interestingly enough. State level wanted to do ISTAT testing and school board level wanted to do MAP testing. And our school board said, well, we can't rely on the state because they keep flip-flopping. And they did about 5 years ago, just wasn't sure where they were going to go. And so our school board said, forget that. We're not going to pay attention to that. We're going to focus everything we have on MAP testing, which we did. And our numbers grew and our numbers have been skyrocketing like that, which is great. But our numbers in ISTAT have been dropping. So we were announced through the news, our middle school was announced through the news that we were a failing school. And so we are trying to figure out how to, we have done a great job, in my opinion, communicating this trajectory. Our MAP scores have been going up while our ISAT scores have been going down because we were told to focus on our MAP scores. So we are trying to balance this, and we're trying to help the board figure out how to balance the state's demands and their desires. And we have learned that in our relationship with the board and the community, going in with hey, this is what we want to do. What do you think about this? Versus saying, what do you want us to do? We tend to get better results. So if we come to the community and say, hey, this is what happened. This is, and explain, not blame, but explain. We tend to have wonderful support. We invite community in whenever that we can. We do art walks. We do all this different stuff to show how wonderful we are and all the good things that we are doing. So measuring of the public opinion, again, we document the people that come into the school to see our displays, to be a part of our concerts, to see the games. We do school-wide surveys, opinion articles. We do weekly write-ups in the newspaper. We do a lot to measure the temperature of public opinion and our school district. But our school has really taken the lead in a lot of this. So that was my module 5 about school community relations and the statistics and characteristics of Teton Valley, Idaho. Thanks. I hope you have a good day.